Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I'm going to share all of the projects that I created using the Ampersand Story Kit from Ali Edwards. During the month of September, we have been working to crush this kit over on Instagram and on YouTube. Here on YouTube, I released a planning video at the beginning of the month that showed 12 different stories that I planned to tell with this kit, in addition to a week of project life. Throughout the course of the month, I have released 4 different process videos taking you through some of the different projects that I wanted to create, where you can see the layout from start to finish. The other 8 stories I completed over on Patreon with my Patreon members during some live videos. Now, those process videos are exclusive to Patreon, so if the process videos for some of these projects are ones that you are interested in seeing come together, or some of them have templates that I also gave away for free in that group, then I suggest going to the link down in the description box that will take you to Patreon, where you can see how you sign up to be a member and what comes as a benefit to that membership. Now, one thing I want to show you before I start going through all of these is what I have remaining from the kit. When the add-ons were revealed, I went ahead and purchased all of the add-ons for this kit, knowing that I was probably going to have a lot of them left over. I was totally okay with that because the ampersand is something that can be used time and time again in all different kinds of projects. So from the cardstock sticker sheet, I have 2 of the little stickers left and all of the big ones. The chipboard stickers are the same die as the cardstock ones. I have more of the chipboard small ones and also all of the big ones left in that set as well. And then I also have most of the puffy stickers remaining, which I will definitely be using in projects throughout the course of the year. And then of course the stamp set, which is a timeless product. It never gets used up. That will also go into my stash. So that is what I have left over from this kit. I actually have one other felt ampersand left as well. So right here, I have this one. Okay, so let's go through the different products or the different projects. I will let you know where the process video is located so that, you know, if you're curious, you can find it there. This very first one was a project that I did in my Pocket Page notebook. Pocket Page notebooks are like a traveler's notebook. They just have a pocket in between the white pages. These come from a shop in Australia called The Stamp Spot. For this one, I wanted to do a story about all of my different titles. So my title being I Am, and then mother and wife and daughter and sister and friend and storyteller and aunt and teacher and on and on and on. So this was just a really fun, easy way to do a story about who I am, but also a way to use up some of my stamps. This stamp set was the scripty font, or I don't know what that was necessarily called, but it was basically the same font as the One Little Word font from 2021, just in a smaller version. So that is my first story. Next, I have a layout that goes in my niece's story album. This one I titled Forever and Ever, and this was one of the projects that I did over in my Patreon. So for this one, I wanted to use the title or the idea of what are things about my niece that are, you know, like we love them forever and ever. And I did, you know, toothless smiles, wobbles, onesies, slobber kisses, and cuddles, and then used some of those chipboard ampersands in there and paired this with a photo of my niece, the plastic ampersand, and then the title Forever and Ever. And then this is Forever and Ever, I Love You So. So this is going to go in my niece's 3x8 story album. Next, I have a couple of layouts that are going to go in my 6x8 family story album. The first one I called More of the Story. This one is another layout that I created over on Patreon, and it talks about going to stay with my husband's aunt and uncle for a random weekend. So I have a cluster that I built above the photo of our aunt and uncle, and then the kids and the dog. And then over here, I've got some journaling and then a card where I've added some tiny phrase stickers in the middle. So this is going to go in my 6x8 family album. In addition to that one, I also have this story that goes into the family album that's called The Beauty of the Space Between. So this one I scrap lifted from Allie Edwards and completed this spread over on Patreon, so you can see it come together over there. I layered up a bunch of the ampersand embellishments underneath the journaling card here, and then journaled about being in this in-between state of the kids kind of getting older and starting to go to school, and what it feels like to come to the end of summer and know that change is upon us. For our story album, the family story album, I have one more that's going to go in there, and it is Dibs and Pumpkin. Dibs is the name of our older cat, and Pumpkin is the name of our younger cat. For this one, I did a compare and contrast and journaled about things that are the same and things that are different about the two of them. This is another project that I did over in my Patreon. Moving on, I have a story that I completed about my son that's going to go into his story album. This one is Mac and Cheese, which I got the idea to document this story from the Allie Edwards Design Inc. story chat that was all about this particular theme. The ampersand theme. I wanted to document my son's love/obsession with mac and cheese. This one is a layout that I did over on Patreon, and this is one where I have the template available as a free download. So just as an FYI on that. And then my last 6x8 project is one that's going to go inside of my daughter Isabella's story album. This one I wanted to talk about what it was like for me to start kindergarten for the first time, and then compare and contrast that with what it was like for her to start kindergarten for the first time. For this layout, I have 4 different photos. 2 of them are my daughter, 2 of them are me. All of these are the first day of kindergarten, and all of them have interactive journaling that pulls out from behind the photo and gives some story regarding the days of kindergarten, and then that just tucks right back in behind there. This was another layout that I completed live over on Patreon, and there is no template since this is one that I just scrap lifted, so nothing there. So those are all of my 6x8 layouts. Next, I have 2 6x12 layouts that I created. This first one is called Best and Worst. I wanted to create a timeline looking spread, so you can see the line here and then the different events that happened, and document some of the best things about the year so far and some of the worst things about the year so far. This is a layout that I created over on Patreon, and one where I did a template that I gave away as a download in that post. My next story is about the relationship between my children. Now, Izzy is Isabella's nickname, and Jojo is Jonah's nickname. So I titled this one Izzy and Jojo. I have a bunch of pictures that I took from the kids being out in the forest feeding birds, and then I did some journaling about their relationship to each other. This is a layout that I did here on YouTube, so you can find the process video here in the Story Kit Crush Ampersand playlist, which I will also link down in the description box. I did, however, do a template for this one, and the template is available over on Patreon, but the process video is here on YouTube for anyone to view. Okay, my next 2 projects are a 9x12 layout. This one is about Isabella's first day of first grade. I titled this one An End and a Beginning, and just talked about things that were ending and things that were beginning. This is another layout that was done over on Patreon Live. Next, I have a layout that I did called Highs and Lows, and for this one I talked about a trip that we took to the zoo with a couple, with some of my friends, and the highs and lows of that particular trip. This one I did on Patreon as well, and just super love all of the dimension on this page. Next, I have two 12 by 12 layouts. The first one here is one that I did on Patreon, and this one is before and after. And I did this layout to document the haircuts that our whole family did. So basically like a makeover of here's everybody before and here's everybody after. This one I did have a template for that is available over on Patreon. And then my second 12 by 12 layout is one that I did here on YouTube. So you can find the process video here. This one I talked about the and space, and really this was regarding selling our house, how it felt like exciting and also scary, and how it was, I am grateful, and I also feel a little bit sad, and that it's been really frustrating, but we're feeling hopeful. Like just comparing and or talking about some extreme emotions, opposite ends of the spectrum that I was feeling at this time. My very last layout that is a story layout is in a traveler's notebook, and this one is also available here on YouTube. This one I titled This and That, and I talked about Isabella just becoming more and more confident in her own skin, in her body, and the way that she moves it. So this was a really fun yet easy layout that I put together here. Then last but not least, I put together one layout in my 9x12 Project Life album using the Ampersand kit, and used this to really tell the story about going to visit our in-laws and getting our haircuts, and then just taking Izzy to the doctor. So what I did is I used a lot of these title pieces to embellish my photos and tried to match them up as best that I could, and then added a couple of other embellishments throughout as well, and then called this one done. So that is a total of 12 stories told with this kit and one layout of Project Life. So with that, my Ampersand kit is officially crushed, and now I am ready to move into the next kit that I will be crushing, which is the Teach story kit from Ali Edwards. So I hope that you guys will join me next month in crushing Teach. I plan to have a story planning video available to watch on the first Friday of the month, in addition to a process video for one project. And then every Friday after that, for the rest of the month, there will be one additional project that I make, which will be, I believe, a total of 5. For any of the other stories that I determine that I want to tell, I will be putting those together with my patrons, which I do a Monday through Thursday live for 30 minutes, and we put together one, sometimes 2 projects together, and then that's pretty much it. So I work on all of my extra projects over there with my patrons. So if you want to see all of the stories for all of the kits, then I highly recommend checking out that platform. Otherwise, you will totally still get to see all of the finished projects, and even from that, you can definitely get some ideas for different stories to tell with your kits. All right, friends, well, I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of the different projects that I created this month. And if you did enjoy this video, I would love a thumbs up down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can see all of my crafty videos. And that is that. I will be back next month with more Story Kit Crush. Until then, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.